I have been married to John Wilson for 3 years. And outsiders all say we are a loving and well-matched couple. But only I know that he has slept in the guest room for 3 years and has never touched me. I placed the divorce agreement on his desk, wanting to set him free, but accidentally saw the diary spread open on the desk. Today, after she took a shower, she forgot to take the clothes she changed out of. I resisted for a long time but couldn't control myself and hid one piece. I hope she doesn't find out. I froze. So the underwear I lost before was all taken by him. In the middle of the diary on the desk, there was a black and gold pen. Not the one I gave John, but the underwear mentioned in the diary was the one I just bought last week. Thinking back carefully, over these 3 years, the nightgowns and underwear I've lost add up to more than 20 pieces. I thought maybe the wind blew them away, or I forgot to bring them back when traveling. I never suspected John, only because he has a cold and aloof personality. After marriage, we have always maintained a respectful distance. When he talked to me, his eyes wouldn't even glance elsewhere. How could he do such a thing? But last night, John said the faucet in the guest bathroom had no hot water. So he borrowed my bathroom to take a shower. It only took about half an hour. And when he left, he said thank you. I didn't suspect a thing. I never expected it was him who took it. But what can he do with my intimate clothing? He can't wear it. Unpleasant images suddenly popped into my mind. My face flushed. And I didn't dare to think further. I really wanted to go up and see the earlier contents of the diary. I also wanted to rush into the guest room and rummage through his wardrobe. But that would be too immoral. I calmed down and decided to pretend I saw nothing. I turned around and closed the study door. And that divorce agreement, I stuffed it into the drawer of the dressing table. Whether it's real or fake, I'll find out by trying. John came back early tonight. When he came back, seeing that the living room lights were off, he called out to me, "Ivy Peter." I braced myself and walked out of the bedroom. "You're back." I didn't cook dinner. John remained his stoic and unsmiling self. He always calls me by my full name. But I read the diary, thinking of him with that cold face, secretly using my nightgown for that. I couldn't bear to look at him. He didn't notice anything unusual and handed me a blue gift bag. "It's okay. We can go out to eat. This is a gift for you." I reached out and took it. My hand accidentally brushed against his fingertips. I quickly withdrew it. John Wilson's eyes darkened for a moment, then quickly returned to normal. Today is our 3rd wedding anniversary. The gift I prepared for him was divorce papers. But he bought me a string of pearl necklace. Suppressing my complex emotions, I said softly, "I'm sorry. I forgot to prepare a gift." Fortunately, he didn't mind. "It's okay. I don't lack anything. This necklace suits you well. So I bought it on a whim." I whispered, "Thank you." John said lightly, "You're welcome. Get ready. I'll book a restaurant." I changed into a sleeveless velvet dress, paired with a fur shawl, and put on the pearl necklace he gave me. This outfit wasn't overly flashy but very elegant. When I opened the door, John looked up, clearly stunned for a moment. Our eyes met, and my heart suddenly raced. Before I could speak, he had already averted his gaze. "Let's go." I watched his cold back, thinking to myself, see how long you can keep up the act. In the restaurant, the temperature was a bit high, and I was about to take off my shawl. Suddenly, he looked up and stared at me. John's features were sharp, with deep-set eyes. Because he wore glasses, he seemed less aggressive and more refined. But at that moment, I saw danger in his eyes. "Well, what's wrong?" "Nothing. I'm going out to smoke a cigarette." As soon as he left, that suffocating feeling eased considerably. Just now, I thought he was going to eat me. During the meal, John said he was on vacation these few days and asked if I wanted to go home. Actually, according to my plan, I intended to confront John. sign the divorce papers, and then go back. After my family went bankrupt, my father's mental state was poor for a while. He went back to his hometown, rented a house, and gardened and grew vegetables, gradually adjusting. My father always thought that John and I had a good relationship, and I haven't told him about the divorce yet. If I go back with John, that divorce agreement will have to be put on hold again. John was waiting for my reply. I could only brace myself and forced a dry laugh. Sure. If you're not busy, then let's go back together. When leaving, John lingered at the door. I looked at him. Did you forget something? His gaze fell on my shoulder. Inscrutable. Put your shawl on properly. Perhaps realizing his tone was too harsh, he softened his voice and added, "It's cold outside." After showering, I looked at the clothes I had changed in the laundry basket. I remembered my newly lost bra low-cut style adorned with a circle of white lace. I really liked it. I didn't know where John Wilson had hidden it. I deliberately left the nightgown I had changed out of. Tonight, John would come to borrow the bathroom again. If the nightgown was gone, that would be conclusive proof. Sure enough, after a short while, John knocked on the door, still with that indifferent face. "Sorry, I need to borrow it again tonight," he said. I smiled at him and replied generously, "It's fine. Go ahead." Listening to the water running in the bathroom, every second felt like an eternity. I kept flipping through the same page of a book. Finally, John came out. His expression was normal as he said softly, "Rest early. Good night. Good night." I responded. As soon as he left, I rushed into the bathroom. Sure enough, my nightgown was gone. I was both embarrassed and furious. I stormed over to the guest room door. Just as I was about to knock, I suddenly heard some suppressed moans coming from the crack in the door. This. He couldn't be. My face burned hot. Afraid to witness an awkward scene, I could only turn back to my room. Thinking wildly all day led me to have a strange dream that night. In the dream, John was wearing my underwear, asking me if it looked good. I called him a pervert. Then he chuckled softly and pressed closer, whispering in my ear, "Ivy, you wear it. Wear it just for me to see. Okay." The next morning, I woke up with 2 big dark circles under my eyes. John was already on the phone with my dad. My dad heard we were going to stay over for a few days and happily said he would kill an old hen to make soup. The two chatted casually on the phone, the familiar atmosphere making it seem like we were truly a family. With mixed feelings, I packed my luggage. John Wilson treated me very well. He supported me in continuing to paint. He didn't make any unreasonable demands because he saved my family from disaster. On the contrary, he respected me deeply. Everyone said we had a deep bond and were an enviable couple. I had feelings for him too, but he attributed all his kindness to repaying a debt of gratitude. I couldn't help thinking that perhaps he was just treating me like a little sister. Between us, apart from having a marriage certificate, there was no real connection. But now, the thought that my nightgown might be hidden in his suitcase made my scalp tingle. His serious demeanor was all an act. I closed the suitcase and suppressed my mixed emotions. I made up my mind to end this absurd arranged marriage after returning from my father's place. The drive back would take nearly 6 hours. John had a mild case of OCD, so I hadn't opened any of the big bag of snacks he handed me. I lay on the back seat playing games. John looked at me in the rearview mirror. "Isn't there anything you like to eat?" Wrong. He bought all my favorites. But it was his car, and I had to respect his cleanliness obsession. So I stubbornly said, "Oh, I'm not hungry." Midway, John pulled into a rest area. When I came out of the bathroom, he was standing under a camphor tree making a call. Sunlight filtered through the leaves, shining on him. With his suit off and wearing just a shirt, John looked more youthful. He flicked the ash off his cigarette, brought it to his lips, and took a deep drag, tilting his head back. He exhaled the smoke. His usually upright shoulders relaxed at that moment. When he glanced sideways and saw me, there was a faint smile on his lips. Okay, I'll hang up now. Call me if anything comes up. That gentle, humble look, it had to be an act too. As soon as I got in the car, I covered myself with my jacket and pretended to sleep, afraid he might talk to me again. John drove very steadily. I pretended to sleep, and pretending turned into real sleep. When I woke up, my father had already opened the car door and was calling me out. Ivy, you slept the whole way. You silly girl. Didn't you take turns driving with John? Before I could say anything, John looked at me and said with a smile, It's fine. She's not familiar with my car, so it's good to let her sleep a bit more. If she sleeps so much during the day, will she be able to sleep at night? John said softly, If she can't sleep, she doesn't have to. It's a rare break. It was such a casual remark, but it sent chills down my spine. I quickly got out of the car and ran toward the yard. As soon as I entered the house, I smelled the rich aroma of chicken soup. Dad, I'm starving. Let's eat soon. Okay. Let you two taste Dad's cooking. John, take her to wash her hands. Watch her. Don't let her sneak a bite. John Wilson took my suitcase, followed behind my dad, and replied with a smile, Okay. I'll watch her. I heard John's voice and tensed up all over. As soon as he came in, I hurried out. My dad's yard is spacious and bright. He also planted many flowers, whose names I couldn't recall. After washing my hands, I squatted nearby and took a few photos, sending them to a friend. While typing, John suddenly appeared behind me. This is trailing Jasmine. I was startled and hurriedly stood up, losing my balance. I almost fell. John reacted quickly, grabbing my arm and pulling me into his embrace. Be careful. His clean, refreshing scent wafted into my nose as soon as he got close. I felt my heart race suddenly. When you like someone, even their scent feels like a temptation. Just as I was about to push him away, my dad came out of the kitchen carrying the chicken soup. Dinner, oops. I didn't see anything. You two continue. John let go of me, and I rushed into the house immediately. Awkward. Really awkward. After dinner, I realized an even more awkward problem. My dad said he had only prepared one guest room. One, I exclaimed. My dad looked at me puzzled. It's just the two of you staying. Isn't one enough? John interjected. It's enough. Thanks for your hard work, Dad. As he spoke, his deep eyes kept staring at me. It made me uneasy. Lying in bed, I thought it over. Decided to message John. How about you and my dad go out to play mahjong tonight? John, I'm tired from driving. Well, he drove for over 6 hours. That is tiring. Then I'll sleep outside and watch TV all night. John, there's no heating in the living room. What should I do? I can't really sleep in the same bed with John, can I? I'm not sure I can control myself. I carefully replied. But it's not very convenient for us to sleep together, is it? This time, John didn't reply instantly. Outside, I could hear him chatting with Dad. I paced anxiously in the bedroom. He didn't reply. Is there no room for negotiation? After a while, John Wilson came back. I hid under the covers, pretending to be asleep. I heard the sound of him showering in the bathroom. The atmosphere grew even tenser. Coincidentally, I had slept for over 3 hours during the day and now had no sleepiness at all. The rural night was incredibly silent. I could hear every one of his movements clearly. The water sound in the bathroom stopped. John was drying his hair. He opened the door and approached. The mattress NK a little. A familiar fragrance came over. He was using my shower gel. I swallowed hard and tried to steady my breathing. John was tall with long legs. as he got into the bed. His foot accidentally touched my calf. Sorry. It's fine. You're not asleep. Isn't it stuffy under the covers? The air almost froze. I squeezed my eyes shut, pretending that the one who spoke just now wasn't me. But John leaned closer. The rich floral scent was warmed by his body heat. How come I never noticed before that this scent could make my mind wander? I held my breath and continued to pretend to sleep. Ivy, did you read the diary I left on the table? I instantly opened my eyes wide, threw off the covers, and explained. No, I didn't read it. Who knew? I ran straight into his dark, deep eyes. He frowned slightly. TSK. Didn't read it. Blame me for not putting it in a more obvious place. What did his disappointed tone mean? Was he laying it all out? No more pretending. Actively admitting he stole my clothes. I threw off the covers, intending to question him properly. Who knew? He grabbed my wrist and whispered. 3 years. And you're still this afraid of me. As he spoke, he leaned over and pressed down. His voice was hoarse, murmuring in my ear. But I don't want to hold back anymore. Ivy. It hurts so much to hold back. Touch me if you don't believe me. My fingertips touched his hot, smooth skin. I quickly pulled my hand back. My ears were burning. John. Are you crazy? Tonight. He and my dad chatted while eating. And he drank a few extra glasses. It was wine my dad brewed himself, with a high alcohol content. At this moment, his cool, pale skin flushed with a faint blush. His eyes were hazy with a layer of mist. Looking at me with a pitiful expression. You don't want to touch me. He was truly drunk. The tone of disappointment made my hair stand on end. Tonight's John shed his usual aloof demeanor. After his shower, his jet black, fluffy short hair softened his sharp features. Without his glasses, his long eyelashes made him look fragile and easy to bully. I recalled what he wrote in his diary and tentatively asked him, John Wilson, are you drunk? No. Then, is it you who took my nightgown? Yes. I took it. What did you do after taking it? John sank into memories, his Adam's apple bobbing suddenly. He said hoarsely, I did some bad things. I couldn't help but remember that day outside the guest room. Hearing those suppressed gasps, pain mixed with pleasure. It was obvious what he was doing. My face flushed bright red instantly. Secretly writing in his diary. Secretly taking my nightgown to masturbate. Does he like me so much that he can't just say it? I was determined to make him admit it out loud. I pretended to be angry and glared at him. What exactly are these bad things? John's dark eyes fixed on me. He crawled a few steps on his knees, trapping me against the headboard. Ivy. I can't say it out loud. Can I show you instead? Do. All he ever thinks about is doing. Blushing. I pushed him away abruptly. John was caught off guard. He fell back onto the quilt, supporting himself with his hands behind him. Under the warm yellow glow of the bedside lamp, he looked up. His expression startled. His chest rose and fell rapidly. The loose neckline of his pajamas revealed glimpses of his collarbone and chest muscles below his Adam's apple. The lines were clean and defined, paired with his seemingly pure face. It was too unfair. You. Go sleep with my dad. He lowered his head, glanced at his pajama pants, and said bitterly, Ivy. Like this. It's not convenient for me to go out. I followed his gaze. Instantly, I felt ashamed and annoyed. John. How could you be like this? He sighed softly. I've always been like this. Afraid of scaring you. That's why I sleep in separate rooms. But you can't endure for 3 years. I'm sorry. If you don't like it, I'll control myself. Tonight I was impulsive. I drank. If I touch you again, it might really hurt you. Ivy. You go to sleep first. I'm going to the bathroom. I immediately understood what he wanted to do. I burrowed under the covers, not looking at him. But he didn't move. Sitting by the bed watching me. I poked my head out. What are you doing? Don't tell me you want me to help you. John Wilson stiffened. Swallowing hard. Can I? Of course not. Then can I borrow your pajamas? Pretending. Still pretending. That white silk one from yesterday. Isn't it with you? That one I accidentally tore it. Me. Just one night. Does he have thorns on him? I scowled. Gritting my teeth. John. That was expensive. I'll buy you a new one. Lots and lots, don't even think about it. I only brought 2 back. But without your pajamas. It's hard for me, stop talking. Pervert. I couldn't take it anymore. Covered myself with the blanket. Holding my flushed face. Unbeknownst to me, John stood by the bed. Looking utterly shattered. After a long time, he said, I'm sorry. That night, John didn't touch me. He didn't go to the bathroom either. Instead, he curled up at the foot of the bed and slept all night. Not even taking a pillow. The next day, he said there was something at the company. He had to go back to handle it. Told me to stay a few more days. My dad didn't know what happened between us. But he's been through it before. When John spoke, his eyes were always glued to me. But I avoided his gaze. After John left, he asked me if I had argued with John. I denied it. No. What's there to argue about with him? My dad was shelling edamame. Saying, that kid John. You can't find fault with how he handles things. But I think he might not have woken up yet. In terms of romance. He's like a blockhead. I was slightly surprised. Didn't expect my dad to be so perceptive. What kind of good person doesn't say what they have to say? Writes it in a diary. Really a solid blockhead. My dad saw my gloomy expression and chuckled. In his first year at work, a senior executive took a liking to him and deliberately got him drunk. When he was pretty wasted, she tried to take him to a hotel. Guess what that kid said? What did he say? My dad put on a stern face, imitating John Wilson's expressionless look. You want to sleep with me? You're disgusting. You're really ugly. My eyes widened, and I burst out laughing. He's that bold. Didn't that offend the client? My dad shook his head with a smile. Exactly. The deal that was practically in hand was about to fall through. Luckily, I have a good relationship with that company's board director. We had a meal and smoothed things over. That kid really stepped up the next year. He got that executive ousted. John's decisive and ruthless way of handling things is well known in their circle. No wonder my dad always says John is the most successful among all the kids he's sponsored. It also made me understand what John said to me on our wedding night, Ivy. You don't need to feel burdened. Uncle Peter helped me out back then. And now it's only right that I repay him. I'll sleep in the guest room from now on. Good night. That little spark of attraction I felt was completely doused by his few words. But John has always been someone who clearly distinguishes gratitude from grudges. The first time I met him was when I brought a friend home to hang out. John happened to be coming out of my dad's study. A clean, youthful energy hit me instantly. He was wearing a school uniform, tall and lanky, with cold, arrogant eyes. He glanced at me, nodded, and walked off. My friend asked who the handsome guy was. I hid my instant awe of him and shrugged, saying I didn't know. Later, I asked my dad, who said he was a student he sponsored had gotten a scholarship and came to repay the money. My dad refused. I joked at the time that he had real backbone. Later, he got into University A and came to our house again to repay the money. My dad still wouldn't take it. That's when I thought, John is such a stubborn person, terrified of owing anyone anything. But my dad insisted he'd go far. Sure enough, in the end, it was John who cleaned up our family's mess. I'm grateful to him, but deep down, I'm also a bit afraid of him. My dad sighed. Ivy, I'm getting old. and am genuinely happy that you and John ended up together. But if you're unhappy with him, I don't want you to bear this debt to him for my sake. If it doesn't work out, don't force yourself. I just want my precious daughter to have a happy marriage." My eyes welled up, and I turned away. Who says I'm not happy? I'm doing just fine. He's just a man who's all bark and no bite, keeping his little thoughts hidden in his diary. I'm going to confront him face to face and ask what he's really thinking. Either we split up, or we make it work like a normal married couple. I don't want to live so confusedly anymore. I hid it from John Wilson and booked a return ticket. But I never expected it. The plane had just landed. Outside, it was pouring rain. I was hailing a cab when John's call came in. "Ivy, did Dad say you're back?" Damn it. My dad betrayed me. I stammered, thinking how to respond. "Oh, yes. I was just wait for me at the airport. I'll be right there." "All right." The call ended. I looked outside the glass curtain wall, seeing tree shadows swaying in the rain. I remembered a time before, when I came back from a trip. It was summer, also pouring rain. I managed to hail a cab to the residential area. I jogged all the way to the elevator, but I was still soaked to the skin. When I got home, John saw me and frowned deeply. He seemed in a very bad mood. After I changed clothes and came out, he handed me a cup of hot ginger tea. He said lightly, "Next time, tell me in advance. I'll pick you up." But I always felt we weren't close, except for having a marriage certificate. We are nothing. John didn't make me wait long. Probably my dad told him the flight details. In the wind and rain, he held a black umbrella, braced against the storm, walking towards me. His leather shoes stepped into puddles, his trouser legs completely soaked. Clinging to his skin, the umbrella tilted away, revealing his sharp and distant eyes and brows. "Sorry, I'm late." My heart suddenly stirred. Lifting my skirt, I ducked under the umbrella. "Not late." On the way back to the car, he tilted the umbrella completely towards me, his clothes soaked through. He took off his suit jacket, but the shirt underneath was also wet, clinging to his firm muscles, the contours faintly visible. There was a clean towel in the glove compartment. I leaned over to wipe the water droplets off him. John froze, awkwardly taking the towel. He said, "I can do it myself," avoiding me again. Even though he's drenched like this. I grabbed his collar firmly and said sternly, "It's all soaked. Take this off too." He suddenly looked up, a flicker of panic in his eyes. "No need. I'll be back soon." "Yes, you do. If you want, take it off. I'll help you." With that, I climbed over to the driver's seat. The space was a bit cramped, and John Wilson adjusted the seat. My heart pounded like a drum. My fingertips brushed against his shirt buttons. Suddenly, I noticed his heartbeat was just as frantic, wild, and uncontrolled. John tilted his head back, dark eyes fixed intently on me, almost magnetically. I leaned down and kissed him on the lips. He froze, hands splayed, not daring to move, since I'd already crossed that line. I felt emboldened and kissed him again, this time on his jaw. When my lips touched his Adam's apple, John shuddered, releasing a low, ragged gasp. The next second, his hand cupped the back of my neck, pulling me into a deep kiss. Rain pattered urgently against the car windows. The dim yellow streetlight outside barely pierced the darkness inside, leaving only the trembling shadows of trees dancing with unspoken secrets. John lost all restraint, his kiss fierce, almost demanding. My head spun. The steering wheel dug painfully into my lower back. When he finally pulled away, breathing heavily, my lips felt numb. He held me tightly, voice rough as gravel. "I'm sorry," still dazed. Only one thought surfaced. "Let's just go home first." John drove recklessly fast the whole way. Back at his place, he urged me to shower first. By the time I stepped out, Head changed and cooked dinner. I picked a bottle of red from his wine cabinet. Turning, I asked, "Want some wine?" He glanced at me. "Do you?" I explained. "Mostly because I think alcohol makes you braver." Like that night when he finally admitted taking my pajamas. Tonight, I wanted him to admit he loved me. John nodded. "All right. I'll join you." At the table. He poured me half a glass. "Why didn't you wait for me to pick you up?" "Missed you. That's why." John paused mid-motion, almost disbelieving what he'd heard. Heart pounding. I dared to ask, "Don't you miss me?" He nodded very seriously. During the meal, I didn't eat much food, but drank most of the wine. I don't know if it was the alcohol or his staring, but my face was burning. I couldn't help but think about that kiss in the car. After the meal, John Wilson cleared the table. He cut a plate of fruit for me and sat beside me watching me eat. His gaze was almost piercing through me. Yet he sat there properly. His fingers on his knee moved slightly. I turned my face and asked him softly, "Do you want to hold hands?" John looked at me and nodded obediently. I directly grasped his hand. "If you want to hold hands, just do it." John's palm was very warm. Because of working out, there was a thin layer of callus on his palm. Whatever was playing on TV, I had no mind to watch. My fingertips lightly brushed across his palm. John shuddered. His ears instantly turned red. "Ivy, want to kiss?" His gaze fell on my lips, just as he was about to nod. I hooked my arms around his neck and kissed him. I didn't control the force well. The kiss was a bit hard. I blushed and let go of him. "If you want to kiss, just kiss." I wanted to tell him with my actions. Do whatever you want to do. Don't always restrain yourself. But John was dazed by my kiss. When our eyes met, his deep eyes were filled with desire. It was frightening. I let go of his hand and stood up. "I'm going back to my room." Before I finished speaking, John pulled me back. I fell into his lap. While I was still in shock, John cupped the side of my neck with one hand, tilted his head, and kissed me. His clean scent invaded wantonly. My consciousness was swept into a sea of desire. His shoulder became my only lifeline. Just as I was nearly suffocating, John let go of me. His large hand wandered along my waist. He asked hoarsely, "Is it okay?" I looked at him and nodded gently. In the bedroom, the bedside lamp was turned off. Outside, the rain was pouring heavily, like the heartbeats of John and me pressed together. In the darkness, unable to see each other's faces, seemed to give me more courage. Warm kisses trailed down my neck. John Wilson's Adam's apple bobbed. He let me bully him. I deliberately stopped and asked him, "John, do you like me?" John's voice was hoarse as he whispered, "Yes, I like you. Very much." "Since when?" "A very, very long time ago." Angry, I bit him. "Then why didn't you say it? Why did you make me sleep alone when we got married?" John groaned in pain and lifted his hand to stroke my hair. "Because I wasn't sure if you hated me. You're blaming me first. It was you who rejected me first. I was heartbroken for so long. Do you know that?" "I'm sorry. Back then, I took advantage of your vulnerable state when you were in a desperate situation to marry you. My thoughts were filthy. I couldn't control myself. If you knew what I was thinking when we sat together eating, you'd definitely find me disgusting." I kissed the spot I had bitten, now red and swollen. John's breath hitched. He wrapped his arm around my waist and, with a skillful twist, pinned me beneath him. He braced himself on the pillow with one hand. With the other, he gently caressed my face. I lied to myself that we had a long, long time ahead, and one day, you would accept me. But then, I accidentally overheard you consulting a lawyer about divorce. I got scared and deliberately left my diary open on the table, hoping that after you saw it, you'd question me, hit me, scold me, anything. But you did nothing. And I panicked even more. I grabbed his right hand, which was moving downward, and said angrily, well, you actually eavesdropped on my phone call. Humph. I really did prepare the divorce papers. Ready to divorce you. This reticent blockhead before I could finish saying divorce. John leaned down and firmly silenced me with a kiss. No. I don't agree. You can punish me however you want. Just don't say those two words. Emboldened by alcohol, I pointed at him and said, that's what you said. No backing out. John replied softly. I said it. I pushed him away, leaned over to turn on the bedside lamp. Then, covering myself with the blanket, I went to pick up the pajamas that had fallen on the floor. I threw them at John. Here. Show me what you did with my pajamas. John's eyes instantly darkened. The marks on his shoulders and chest hadn't faded. He looked dangerous and alluring. He chuckled lightly and grasped my wrist. Ivy, are you sure this is punishing me? Of course. Half an hour later. Didn't you say you were punishing me? Why are you begging for mercy so soon? Wife, you're stubborn. Come here for a kiss. The rain outside the window had stopped at some point, but the sounds inside the house showed no sign of stopping. John Wilson said he would never write a diary again. What he wanted to say. What he wanted to do. He let me know everything without reservation. I rested my head on his arm and fell into a deep sleep. He was right. We still had a very, very long time to love each other. Side story. The first time I saw Ivy Peter, she came into the room bathed in summer light, bringing laughter with her, so dazzling it seemed unreal. But there was a boy standing next to her, really annoying. I nodded at her and left. I didn't even say hello to her. I had heard Uncle Song mention his daughter before. Uncle Song doted on her very much. After seeing her, I really wanted to dote on her too. But I wasn't worthy. At least not at that time. I had a habit of keeping a diary. Perhaps Ivy would never know. My first diary and my first pen were given to me by her. She had a lot of stationery. The unused ones were packed up and sent to us poor children by Uncle Song. When I received those notebooks printed with cute anime girl patterns, I was stunned for a long time. One of them was her diary. I knew it was very impolite to read someone else's diary, but I really didn't do it on purpose. That notebook was the only one that looked normal, without colorful patterns. Flipping to the first page, it was the girl's elegant handwriting. September 1st. Sunny. School starts today. Bought a new notebook. Am going to write in my diary properly. I hope this year my grades will improve a bit. My dad promised me that even if I only improve by 1 rank, he would agree to let Xiao Wu and me travel to Nepal. I can definitely do it. Come on. The thick diary had only 1 page written in it. But as for the trip to Nepal, she had probably already been there several times. I felt like I was longing for a fairy tale I could never reach. On a whim, I picked up her ruby red pen and started writing on the second page. As if this way I could have a little more connection to her world. I kept in touch with Uncle Song. Occasionally, I would visit his home, but I rarely encountered her. I laughed at myself for my wishful thinking, but I was unwilling. Without trying, how would I know if I could stand by her side? But fate played a big joke on me. The Peter family went bankrupt. He was set up by someone he trusted. I mobilized all my funds and connections to save the Peter family. Uncle Song said he couldn't handle the debt of gratitude. I shamelessly proposed to him. Uncle Song didn't agree. It was Ivy Peter who pushed open the study door and walked in, saying she was willing. I lowered my head, not daring to look at her at all. I only spoke up and proposed after hearing her footsteps. I was gambling. I won the bet. But I couldn't forgive myself. On the day Ivy and I got married, she walked towards me in a wedding dress, like a princess. In a daze, I felt like a fairy tale had come true. But am not a noble prince, nor a righteous knight. just a servant who has coveted her for a long time. How can I let her know that as long as she's willing, I could be her slave for life? Everyone was congratulating me. No one noticed my hand hanging at my side, trembling uncontrollably. At night, I looked at her plain face under the light. My whole body was boiling with blood. She was very nervous. Her eyes were dodging when looking at me. How could I bear to touch her? I tried to comfort her, telling her not to be afraid of me, but it seemed useless. Our interactions became polite and distant. Not a bit of progress. She likes traveling, and I never ask about her itinerary. Only once, when she went out, she forgot to take in the clothes drying on the balcony. She messaged me to help put them in her room. I touched the soft, thin fabric. Shamefully, I got hard. Only one thought in my mind with so many similar clothes of hers. She wouldn't notice if one went missing. Human greed knows no bounds. I harbored wicked thoughts. If she found out and confronted me, I would just go all out. After holding back for so long, I felt like I was becoming perverted. But she, this scatterbrain, really never noticed even once. Until that day, when she came home. She was on the phone with a lawyer, consulting about divorce. She probably didn't know I was home. She chatted carefreely in the living room for a while, about property division, compensation. I leaned against the door behind, my mind in a daze. I really wanted to rush out, kneel down, and beg her, "Don't divorce. Don't leave me. Just take pity on me. Spare me some mercy." When the living room quieted down, I realized my face was covered in tears. I know I'm paranoid. I'm crazy. The things I want to do, I'll do them even if it kills me. But loving her is the one thing. She doesn't agree. I have no way to change that. I locked myself in the room without her noticing. I listened to her light footsteps occasionally passing by the living room. I listened to her humming, as if leaving me was a relief for her. It felt like I died once. Our 3rd anniversary is approaching. How could she bear to leave me at this time? That night, with the lame excuse that my shower head was broken, I borrowed her bathroom. She was sitting on the bed applying a face mask, wearing pure white silk pajamas. Utterly tempting. Yet, she was completely unguarded against me. In her bathroom, there was the scent she left behind. In the wicker basket nearby were the clothes she had just changed out of. Blood rushed to a certain place instantly. I lost the ability to think. When I left, I took it with me. She should notice. She must notice. After returning, I wrote about this in my diary. I placed it between the pages of the title page, secured with a pen. This pen was given to me by her on our 1st anniversary, black and gold, a collector's edition. I treasure it and rarely use it. Usually, when I write, I use her old crimson red pen. If she notices, she'll come to my room to look for it. Then she'll see this diary. Flipping further back, she can see all my confessions. I look forward to seeing her get angry at me. Her always smiling politely at me no longer satisfies me. I want to see her angry, see her cry, listen to her softly call John Wilson. On our 3rd anniversary, I gave her a pearl necklace. I had it custom made by a French artisan half a year ago. Only something unique in the world is worthy of her. I feared she would pull out divorce papers, tell me that this was her gift to me. Fortunately, she said she hadn't prepared anything. I saw a trace of guilt on her face. Perhaps I still have hope. At dinner, I decided to put aside my official business and accompany her back to visit Uncle Peter. With her family around, she wouldn't treat me so distantly. That night, I deliberately had a couple more drinks with Uncle Peter, taking advantage of the alcohol. I summoned up the courage to confess my feelings. But she still resisted my touch so much that she even called me a pervert. I felt as if I was stripped naked and mocked, shivering as if I'd fallen into an ice cellar. I couldn't find a single word to refute. My possessiveness towards her had long been distorted. Her simple words were like a death sentence for me. The next day, I left dejectedly. God knows how thrilled I was when Uncle Peter told me she was coming back early. I checked the flight schedule and called her right on time. It was raining so heavily. I had to go pick her up. 2 years ago. She went on a trip alone and didn't tell me when she came back. She got completely soaked in the rain. I was both anxious and angry. She'd rather get wet in the rain than call me. I hated myself for being so useless. This time was different. When I walked towards her, I saw joy in her eyes. What I didn't expect even more was that in the car. She kissed me first. Did she feel sorry for me getting wet in the rain? If so, I could soak myself every day. That night was like a dream. She was so well behaved and cute. She even let me do something in front of her, saying it was a punishment for me. If this was a punishment, I wanted it every day. Later, I did everything I could to please her. She cried from exhaustion and called my name in a soft voice, asking me to let her rest. She said our days together would be long. I held her as she slept soundly and my eyes welled up with tears. Was this her promise to me? Yes. It must be.